You clicked on this video because you lack consistency. You have a goal in your mind, and you know that there are a certain set of actions which will fundamentally facilitate the achievement of this goal. And yet, despite you knowing this, for some reason, you can't seem to consistently take these necessary actions in order to generate enough momentum to bring about the actualization of your goal. And having been on self-improvement for 6 years myself and having helped thousands upon thousands of young men like yourself transform their lives, something that I've come to realize is that the problem that you think you have is rarely ever the problem that you actually have. You see, you think that you lack consistency and that's your biggest issue. And I'm not here to say that you don't lack consistency or that that's not an issue. But what I will say is that that is not the core issue. Well, what is the core issue? In order to reach the core issue, we have to peel back all of its layers. First of all, you lack consistency because you lack routine. You need a routine if you're going to be successful. If you're going to achieve your goal, whatever that goal may be, you have to have some semblance of routine. Where a lot of people mess up is they wait for inspiration or motivation to hit them. And I know this may sound contradictory to some of the advice that I've given in my recent videos. Advice where I say that you need motivation to be successful. Because in all actuality, you do need motivation to be successful. You will never find a highly successful person who has been unmotivated for an extended period of time. The truth is that successful people are easily motivated. But motivation will not always be there. You need to have a routine to carry you through those periods where motivation is simply absent. For example, right now, I am not very motivated. I don't really feel like filming this video. I don't feel like doing any work today. I would much rather watch a Netflix series. I would much rather watch the highlights of the NBA All-Star game. But I'm making this video because it's a part of my routine. It's in my planner, therefore I do it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no negotiation. It's part of my routine. Therefore, I do it. You need to establish routines if you ever want to become consistent in life, in any facet of life. For example, I have goals about my physique. I want to build a very muscular, big, strong physique. Therefore, I go to the gym 7 days a week. 7 days a week. Do you think I want to go to the gym every single day? Absolutely not. In the midst of my routine, in the midst of me carrying this routine out, motivation always finds me. Somewhere during my workout, I always find the motivation. Motivation is always waiting for you, but you have to take the initiative to establish a routine that you know is fundamentally conducive to your success. So you're literally programming these actions into your day-to-day life. It's literally that simple, but it's actually not that simple. Because even if you establish a routine, you won't be able to follow that routine consistently enough to see results if you're not disciplined. You see, you lack consistency because you lack routine, but you lack routine because you lack discipline. You lack discipline. What is discipline? Discipline is the capacity to take action that directly contradicts or is at the very least misaligned with your emotional state. So again, it is very, very often the case that I don't feel like filming a video or I don't feel like doing my workout routine because that shit is hard. It's hard, it's painful, it's difficult. But I still force myself to do it. That is discipline. It's disconnecting your actions from your emotions. And furthermore, understanding that whenever you take the right actions, that will actually influence the emotion. So again, when you take the action, the inspiration and the motivation are going to find you, inevitably. And if they don't, and if that happens for an extended period of time, the chances are you're not taking the right actions because you lack the proper desire. So you're not aiming for the right goal. But we'll get to desire later on in the video. You lack discipline because you lack motivation. Now, I know this might sound contradictory because, to my point literally a few seconds ago, oftentimes motivation is the result of discipline. You create this positive feedback loop where you taking action in spite of your emotions gives you the emotional state that facilitates the completion of the task and generates momentum for the next round of that task, for the next workout, for the next video that you film, for the next cold email that you do, so on and so forth. But initially, when you're first starting out, you have to have motivation. Nobody can just up and decide to become disciplined unless there is some sort of motivating factor. There has to be a motivating factor behind the discipline. For me, for example, in my story, this has been a variety of different things, but the one that sticks out to me the most was heartbreak. When I was 19 years old, I got my heart broken. That heartbreak created the emotional state. It created the motivation and the inspiration to essentially boss up on that girl. And that motivation created discipline, which created overnight change. That discipline gave me routine. That routine gave me consistency, and that consistency gave me success. But it all started because I was motivated. Now, what I would suggest is that you don't wait for some sort of emotionally catastrophic event to occur in your life to find this motivation. Instead, think about ways that you can cultivate this motivation within yourself. The way that you do this is by, for one, establishing a push. So, assessing your life and figuring out which aspects of your life you are currently dissatisfied with. And I know you're dissatisfied with some aspect of your life because you're here. If you were completely satisfied with every aspect of your life, you would not be watching videos like the ones that I make. So, figure out which aspects of your life you're currently dissatisfied with and use that dissatisfaction as motivation. It doesn't mean you're being ungrateful. It doesn't. It just means that you're aware that there's more out there. And you're grateful for the opportunity to pursue that more. And that more is the other half of your motivation. That is the pull factor. So if there's an aspect of your life or multiple aspects of your life that you're currently dissatisfied with, what is the opposite of those things? The opposite of living in a household with your toxic parents is having your own place. So that's your pull. You envision having your own place. Or let's say, for example, you're out of shape and you can't walk up and down the stairs without being winded, and you feel ashamed to take your shirt off when you're with a woman. That's your push. Your pull is the healthy, strong, muscular, aesthetic person that you see in your mind's eye. That version of you that you're capable of molding and carving. That's your pull. You need to have a push and a pull. And again, it's already there if you simply acknowledge it. All you have to do is acknowledge it, and you will have all the motivation you need in order to cultivate the discipline to establish a routine to then be consistent in life. Unless you don't believe that it's possible. You have to believe that it's possible to not only escape the components of your life that you're dissatisfied with, but to replace them with the components of your dream life that would give you the emotional state of satisfaction. You have to believe that it's not only possible in a vacuum for other people, but that it's possible for you. Now, this right here is basically my life's work. This is what I've dedicated my life to, is documenting my journey so that you can live vicariously through me, somebody that, I mean, if you're watching my content, I would imagine you resonate with and trust very deeply, or at least trust somewhat. And through my example, you can see that if I'm capable of undergoing the transformation that I've undergone, without my own help, by the way, then maybe you can do the same thing. Maybe you can undergo that kind of transformation, and maybe you can undergo that kind of transformation even faster than I did, because again, you have my help. Not only through these free videos, but also through my coaching program, where you can access me every single week. You can talk directly to me and ask me any questions that you may have about anything from any of these layers that are holding you back from living the life that you want to live, where I can help instill that belief into you, or I can help you arouse that state of motivation. I can help you establish that discipline. I can help you organize that routine, and I can help you be consistent just through the power of accountability. I can give you the information that's maybe keeping you from making progress and discouraging you because even when you do take action, you don't see results, which again feeds into the lack of belief. So if that sounds interesting to you, then you can click the link in the description, or again, you can just watch my free content if you want. It'll take longer, but it'll still work. You need to have belief. The reason why you lack consistency is because you don't believe, fundamentally, subconsciously, you don't believe that the actions that you're taking are actually taking you to where you want to go in life. And if it's true that the actions that you're taking aren't leading you to your desired outcome, then yeah, you shouldn't be consistent. In fact, you should stop taking those actions altogether. But if they are taking you to where you want to go in life, then basically consistency takes care of itself. Because if you believe that it's possible, for you specifically, if you believe that your actions will take you to where you want to go, you have no reason not to be consistent. And it'll actually be harder for you to not take the actions than it will be to take the actions. As difficult as it is for me to film this video, in spite of me not wanting to do it at this moment in time, it would be much more difficult to go to sleep at night knowing that I didn't do it.